I'm taking ages because I'm clearing all the detritus away. Hello there! Welcome back. Out of break. Did you have a good Christmas? Or whatever you celebrate. Are you having a good New Year? We're only just in. Are you planning on having a good New Year? We're not passengers in the hope you have a good new. It's you can make your year whatever you want it to be. Now, we mustn't blame ourselves from our failings of the past, but we must look forward. Welcome back, Intellectual Abattoir episode. I'm going to guess, because I haven't done my research. It's been so long. I think it might be 24. Great guest today, comedian Michael Legge. Now, full disclosure, I used to be quite intimidated by Michael Legge online before I'd met him. He's very... You get certain people in comedy. Like, you got people that... You got the people that toe the line and walk the tightrope, but then you got people that seem to be able to get away with saying, and I just found like, and his statuses, I was like, oh, that's not. I found him quite intimidating. He's very opinionated and convicted, and he really knows what he thinks about stuff and says it in the most emphatic way. And he would have a lot of people, and I was thinking, oh, he would. First time I met him, I was so pleasantly just really got on with him. Maybe we're odd bedfellows. He's hilarious. I find him very, very funny on stage and off stage. He and I we're maybe cut from the similar cloth in that we're on when we're off. For those who don't know what that means like when you're funny on stage, but in the green room, we fuck around and have a laugh. And sometimes comedians, they don't engage and they save it for the stage. He hasn't got that. So I really, really always enjoy watching him perform and also just being around him. But I wouldn't say we're different politically, because I'm not political beast. Actually bring it up in this. I try to sort of articulate that we need to stop being so tribal. I mean, obviously you've got the both extremes and they can fuck off, because the ones anyone who thinks they should wipe out the other side, you can fuck off. I mean actually wipe out like holocausts, that sort of thing. Should go without saying. But anyway, I got him on to talk about... You might not see... There's no record there now because I've got them all down. I don't own much. He's a metal fan. And he likes all sorts of music. I know he's very much into the Beatles and Smiths. We talk about that. But he is unashamed, not that anyone should be. He is a metalhead. I think he sort of mentioned at the beginning, he's sort of like gone back to it. And I sort of said about me, it's a midlife thing maybe. You start looking back and going... Oh, that stuff I was into when I was a teenager that I sort of felt like I had to grow out of. Maybe I shouldn't have. It's a bit like you feel like you've got to reach the next chapter of your life and maybe put the Maiden records down in Michael's case and pick up something like get into Bowie. And I'm sure he still loves Bowie or likes Bowie. I haven't asked him about Bowie because, it's more authentic, whatever that means. And but then you look back and go, no, do you know what? There was a reason I liked that music when I was a teenage boy. It's because when you're a teenage boy, you are less cerebral. I think you are more on your the core of the sort of stuff that speaks to you. I should have brought up. I just thought I should have brought up maybe about the similarities between metal and pornography in that it serves a purpose. If metal gets you, I don't know, that's probably a bridge too far. But that's probably why I didn't bring it up. So Selective Brain was served me well. But yeah, it's a great conversation. It's not all about me. If you don't like heavy metal, there's not just that. But there is, we sort of like stepping out. But he was particularly Iron Maiden. He's got a new project called Iron Maiden Pub Quiz podcast he does. So I don't think if you don't like Iron Maiden, that doesn't necessarily mean you won't find anything of value in this, I hope. And also we talk. If you're here for the Iron Maiden, we do get onto it. It's a meandering chat here at the Abattoir. But anyway, so without further ado, what was my catchphrase? I can't remember what I used to say. Not a catchphrase is a bit too. Not that it's ever been. Was it? Let's get into it. I definitely did the hello hit there at the start, didn't I? I think I forgot if I've done that or not because I was putting my records away. Anyway, that's all the rambling you need. I like to get my rambling done up top. I mean, I could stop this and do it again. Fuck you. I'm not going to. I'm not monetising this yet. If you've got any ideas of how I could What's that? Is that on the screen or is that on? No, it's on my camera. Sorry. This is the worst introduction I've ever done. It's a good introduction, but I feel this all feels new to me. You know, it's like the I don't know. It's like you go away and when you lived at home, and then I went away to university, and then I came back after the first term, and my house, it was as I remembered it, but somehow the proportions were different. Like, I forgot how low the ceilings were. Everything was weird. Anyway, very familiar, but just different up here. I'm finding my feet. Give me a fucking break. So anyway, Michael Legge, the great Michael Legge. Let's get into it.
So your penis goes the other way. All right.
Well, this is without being too graphic. Right, not this size, but just business time.
No.
Business time.
Oh.
Normal time. Oh, I've done that wrong. Business time. Normal time. Somebody's looking.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd come out.
So hang on. Is no one looking during business time?
Well, they are, but that's. We're all in the same arena at that point. I used to play rugby, and I would feel it in my pants. And as I pulled them down when I
that's a big part of rugby, isn't it?
Well, it is. It's the initiation. And I say gaze as in Gaze, right? When I felt the gaze, Gaze, as I removed them, it would just go whoop like a cat's claw back in. I think they call it shy cock, but I don't use labels.
Is this the podcast?
We're finished. That's about it.
Are we nearly done?
No, we aren't. So I could leave that in if you want.
Yeah, why not?
Here he is. This is my. Here he is on the Skype machine, kind of. I think this is Facebook Messenger, all the way from. I don't know where you live. Do you live in Balham?
No,
I
live in Lewisham.
Same ham. See ham.
Yeah, but it's a totally different type of ham.
Lewisham
ham is a vegan ham substitute.
Yeah.
I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, that's true. You are very I'd say an early adopter of the veganism. Are you a bit? Do you ever get a bit Johnny come lately about it, or do you welcome all?
No, but probably in the greater scheme of things, I'm probably not. I've been vegan for like 15 years, and I'm sure there's loads of people go. Fuck off, mate. You just started.
Yeah, but I feel like this is what I try and do on here is reveal things about myself that you know. If those thoughts you go, I'm a bit squeamish about that. That's the thing I say. I would get annoyed if I'd been a vegan for 15 years and then about 5 years ago it had a surge. Even though it's a good thing if you care about animal welfare, sure. I would still be like, fuck off. You got that? You have got no part of it.
Well, I mean, listen. What I can tell you is, it's like anything. Like, it's a really good thing, and but there are loads of people who, once they go towards it, become unbearable people. And
do you care who's in the club? Because if you care about animals, you'd say. But like, if Tommy Robinson came out as vegan, would you be a bit like, oh, or not? Wouldn't care. Don't care at all.
Well, you know, like then he would have. No, I'd be very happy if he, of all people, did, because. Even though he is gammon.
Exactly.
But because then he would have you would have a moment and then go, well, maybe not all is lost, and maybe one day,
an empathy or whatever or something.
Maybe we can get him back.
But you don't want anyone in your club. If you got it used to be more. That's what I guess that's it. It used to be. It's slightly less exclusive club, and if you were there when it was exclusive, even though it's so good and I would want to spread it, I'd get a bit. It's like when I see new acts, I'm like, oh fuck off, not more. Get out.
Oh yeah. Well, see, that's a bit. It's a bit like that when people who are new to veganism, they talk about veganism so much, you go,
done that, mate. Yeah, this is a bit 2005.
And what they say is like I did like a vegan festival. About 5-6 years ago, and people were just going around going, do you know what? I had these vegan sausages, right? And they came with like vegan mayonnaise. What? Do you know here? We can just say sausage and mayonnaise.
Yes, but they're so programmed.
Yeah, and it's why? We fucking get it. You're all saints.
And I guess I've noticed that with Rescue Dog.
Yeah.
Like I'll say, people say I've got a rescue dog. It's like, why don't you say dog?
What breed is it? It's rescue dog.
Yeah, it's a rescue dog.
Fuck
It's
off.
a little bit sanctimonious, isn't it?
Do you know? Do you know Sarah Silverman's routine about the rescue dog? It's very good.
No,
Where
I love Sarah Silverman, so I'm surprised I don't.
Sarah Silverman said, I got myself a little dog from the dog pound. You know, I rescued him, or should I say, he rescued me, whichever's comfiest.
I do know it now you say it. Yes, it's great. So true. I remember I did a bit once, or tried a bit, about people with disabled dogs are the worst.
Right.
You know when you got the one and its arse ends in like a trolley? That's not funny, Michael. But they look at you like, yeah.
No.
They do go, I've got a disabled dog.
What you said was people with disabled dogs are the worst.
They are!
I mean, this podcast has already started with, do you know what? We see Redemption and Tommy Robinson, and people with disabled dogs are the fucking worst.
No, but they look at you like, hey, disabled. Like, they can't just walk past you. Disabled dog.
I haven't came to tell him with a brick.
Got run over, haven't had it put down, which is lovely. I love a disabled dog.
It's an agony every moment of its life.
Yeah.
I haven't killed it.
Just dragging this poor thing along in like eternal hell to make yourself look better to strangers down at the farmer's market. But we've got I don't know if it's a very. I live in Norwich. I don't know if it's because we've got the Greyhound track at Great Yarmouth. I don't know if it's but a lot of ex-racing greyhounds I see around here. Because I don't know if people would ever buy a greyhound. I think you have to rescue one of them because they're so fucking... I mean, they're
tired now. Yeah, can we please stop fucking running?
Yeah, yes, exactly. But I saw one the other day and I looked down and it didn't have all its toes. And I know that if any dog's not diabetic, it's a greyhound, right?
I mean, I don't really know, to be honest. I mean, I'm not a fan of that world.
No, neither am I. Never been in my life, actually.
I've met, several rescued greyhounds that I'm very, very fond of.
Yes, they are lovely.
Yeah,
but
they're easy dogs to look after, mate.
That's what they say. Isn't it weird that they don't need a lot of exercise? That's what people say about greyhounds. I'm like, what?
They're very lazy.
Yeah. All right.
For that.
Well, I feel like that wasn't much of an introduction, but
no, it was dog shit.
It was, wasn't it? No, it wasn't. You mustn't say that. I think that there's a thing that if you say that, you're telling the audience that. Is that true? You know, because I've noticed this as a trope that bad comedians, which you are not, fall into, where they're so used to doing terrible.
High praise indeed.
Yeah, they're so used to doing bad gigs that they say a joke that bombs, and then they go, "Oh no, just me then," or whatever. One of those. This is going back, and that works in a room. Like if you're dying and you acknowledge you're dying, and then I notice that they just fucking do it all the time. I've seen acts doing well do it, and I'm like, "What did you do that for?" But there you go. I digress. So I wanted to get you on because I know you was not just a vegan and a comedian.
There's more to me than those two things.
One more thing to you. You quite like music, don't you?
Yeah, I quite like it. Yeah.
I'd say that you're a would you say muso, or is that derogatory?
I'm definitely not a muso because I can't play a single instrument. So
that's a musician. I thought muso is like a foodie, is not a chef.
Or a muso is someone who is that they can do the job.
I'm a muso then.
Can you do the job?
Yes.
Oh, good for you. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I used to. That's what I did. That's my original thing I did.
What's it?
Creatively.
What did you do?
I was a front man and I wrote the songs and played guitar, bar chords and
wow.
Yeah. I've probably got.
That's great.
Yeah. So but I wanted to talk to you about the Muslim rape. No, I didn't. I wanted to talk to you about heavy metal. We was going to talk about heavy metal.
What's that the name of your band?
Yeah. It would be now because mate, honestly, I cannot be more thankful that social media wasn't a thing when I was a teenager. I was such a button-pushing contrarian. It was, look back, it was hate crimes. Some of the stuff I said and did was hate crimes. And it was all, and it wasn't, I didn't mean any of it. It was very, like...
People don't. I mean, a lot of people don't.
No, they don't.
Make that very clear. It's, people just go,
Yeah, but back...
I've wound up a leftard.
Well, yeah, but not even left. I was just so... whatever environment I was in, and I think, without wanting to get too shoegazy about it, it's a control thing where if you feel like you've been in any way neglected or abandoned, you start pushing people away so you can feel in control of that. It's a defense mechanism, apparently. And whatever group I was in, I would ingratiate myself to an individual group. And I could see they go, oh, I quite like him. Then I'd push it until they were like, oh, he's a fucking weirdo, and walked off. I did it so much. There was more to it. There was definitely something to it. That I would push people. I've had to stop myself now, actually.
Do you not think, though, there might be something more in that where you see so much of yourself that you decide, I don't want to like this person anymore because I see too much of myself in them. That's how I am.
You know the Groucho Marx, going back to the club thing, I wouldn't want to be a member of a club that would have... I don't want to join a club that would have me as a member. If someone likes me, I see that as a flaw in them.
Yeah, well yeah.
Why aren't you telling me to fuck off?
How am I supposed to like them?
Yeah, well, if you hate yourself and someone likes you, then you don't trust their judgment.
Yeah, fucking idiot.
Who doesn't?
But I remember like years ago, someone saying to me, like, did I want to go to a Doctor Who convention? I'm like, fucking hell.
I know.
Why would I want to be in a room with 2,000 versions of me? I'd fucking hate it. See someone, and I believe it's a worse version of myself. It's like, oh my God, at least I'm not as bad as them. You fucking are, Michael. You just think you aren't.
Is that a fear of becoming non-multifaceted, as in going like Doctor Who is a on the pie chart of Michael, Doctor Who's a thin... I don't want to make that...
Oh, that's very much a thin slice. But, you know...
But you don't want to make that... You don't want to enlarge that slice like you don't want to enlarge any slice, really.
No.
Like a Four Seasons pizza, aren't we? I like the different toppings. I don't want to be...
But yeah, 4. There's 4 different toppings to us.
Yeah. But you like... So what I was going to say is you like music, right?
Well, that is true.
Yes, but more than just someone that, you know, like, you know, when you go to people, have you ever met them people, you go, what are you into? And they go, oh, you know, in general, they go, you know, going out, I like music. And you go, oh, what music do you like? And they'll go, oh, you know, whatever's on the, whatever. I'm like, no, you don't like music. You don't like music at all. You've heard music.
Do you know, you would rather someone just went Nickelback.
Yeah, you would.
Well, you know, I'm disappointed, but at least it's something.
Yeah, because right. So Nickelback are the go-to.
They're one of the go-to.
They're one of. There's been a few. I mean, Coldplay, Nickelback. I can think of many in my Bush. Yeah, Bush got a hard time here. I think they broke America. Had the tumult, whatever it is, the audacity to break America without.
There we go.
Without. Just change the word.
Yeah.
You know, because
why couldn't they be ignored in America just like they were at home?
I feel that because they weren't out. I mean, I think that the British public, when Oasis went there, we sort of root for them because they got our stamp of approval. I think where Bush bypassed that, I think that annoyed us.
You know, this is the longest conversation any two people have had about Bush since 1998.
Have you seen... Oh, I don't want to get into that. Yeah, no, probably. But I think so. Nickelback, do you think it's a lack of inauthenticity, or is it a broadness?
It's dull.
It is dull, isn't it?
It's just unimaginative. Do you know what it is? It's almost like Nickelback themselves are the people who go, oh, I really like music. Yeah, what are you into? Oh, do you know, whatever's playing.
Yeah.
Because they're just playing music. Here it goes. I mean, if they were honest with themselves, they wouldn't be called Nickelback. They'd be called, like, Generica.
Yeah. I was going to say, are they ahead of their time? Are they the first AI band?
Yeah.
It was kind of like they've put in...
Technology's taken a long time to catch up with Nickelback.
Yeah, Chad Kroger, is it? He's actually a cyborg.
Chad Kroger. Isn't that terrible? Anyone could remember his name. And yet, we both have remembered his name.
But Chad...
It's Chad Kroger.
Because Chad's a sort of...
Yeah, Chad's like...
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Chad's an opposite of an incel, isn't it? Chad is
I've decided Kroger is an arsehole. And I'm going to be using that term from now on. I've got an itchy Kroger.
Yeah, right up to Kroger.
Yeah. Oh, the blood pouring out of my Kroger. Yeah, I'm going to be using that from now on.
So you like music, and you are an aficionado of many genres of music, but one genre I think that have you always, or are you going through a resurgence, is metal.
Yeah, definitely resurgence. And I'll be honest with you, I do like heavy metal, but I am quite limited in my in the amount of bands. Really, I've decided I've let all the bands in that I need now.
Yeah, I think that's.
I'm finding it very hard to get into any new heavy metal. In fact, when do you know I heard this is terrible. I heard a band last year and I thought they were quite good. I've already fucking forgotten who they are.
I'm finding it very difficult to let any new music in. Sorry.
I'm quite good with new music. I'm generally a big indie music fan. That's sort of where my heart lied. But my first bands were all metal bands, and I guess somewhere in my 40s I started loving that all over again. Yeah, and you know what I did was, of course, I rebought all the albums I sold because they were beneath me. And
that's right. That's kind of the angle. I've got some records here. I don't have metal. I was more of a grindcore man.
Okay.
Yeah. This, if you want to talk about midlife crisis, this is my skateboard, which I last rode in 1988, I think. But I've dug that out of the shed and put that. I'm going through something.
Yeah, I mean now it's a nice decoration.
Yeah, no, it's a reminder of I've got a world's best dad golf ball that my son bought me. But I have got here. Now the thing about metal. Okay, I've been thinking about this in the run up to you coming on, and I'm gonna say it is the sci-fi of music in that people that love it really love it. And a lot of people like metal, and I know you're not this guy, but a lot of people like metal only like metal. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, because there's a heavy metal culture.
Yes,
that goes with it, and the culture is actually really appealing.
It is. It's coming back.
I think when you're a teenager and you're getting into your first band, I think the thing about if you were a teenager when I was a teenager, and suddenly the Smiths came along, and you went, "Oh my God, I really relate to this band." Now there's a group of people that feel how I feel. But you go to a Smiths gig and you'd be sad and go, yeah, but these people aren't making me feel any fucking better about myself.
No, yes.
But you would go to metal, and metal is a celebration of life itself. But metal fans are not scary. They look scary.
They're not scary.
They're not.
They're really positive.
Really positive, really warm, very lovely people. And they're all about having a good time. There's no metal that is a downer. There's some sub-genres in metal, like,
but theatrically so. Theatrically,
very theatrical. I've said this about going to see Iron Maiden before, many times. You're basically going to a pantomime.
A musical, certainly.
Yeah, and it's just great fun.
It is.
And it's really, really, really community based, and it's you don't feel you could easily go to a Maiden gig on your own, and you may not even, if that's your choice, you may not even speak to anyone while you're there, but you won't leave feeling that you weren't as much a part of that gig as absolutely everyone else.
It's a very fascinating dichotomy, because outwardly, with the black leather jacket with all the band, I'm starting to know that is definitely coming back round here. I live near a live venue, and as part of the live venue, there's a media school, like a sort of media college, and I'd say metalheads they're definitely in the ascendancy, if not the majority. The black leather jacket with the bands on, and the thing about someone who's into dance music is your outfit. You can tell by looking at people what the youth culture is. But metal it's more about the music than anything, because you actually have all the fucking... Yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, it was Halloween, Wasp, all these sort of bands, you know. And it's like, there's no other job. Punk and metal are bedfellows, weren't they? I think Motorhead...
I think so.
Yeah, I think Motorhead bridged that gap. But punk was the other thing
Nailed
where
it.
I used to wear, like, I'd have Misfits and Minor Threat and
Yeah.
Black Flag stuff all over one of those little, I
Yeah.
don't know what they were called, like a little canvas bag. You know, the little bag that everyone used to have. It looked like a plumber's bag, but it's like army surplus. It was like do you know the bag I mean?
Colostomy.
Yeah, colostomy bag. But yeah, then the second thing it reminds me of sci-fi, which irritates me, and I don't know if you've experienced it, is people that don't like it seem to sneer it. It's got no cultural merit, which sci-fi is also accused of. Can be.
Yeah. Even though we know, like, sci-fi is really, really, really satirical
And a broad church.
Yeah, which, you know, I'd say incredibly broad church.
I mean, Buck Rogers and Blade Runner are not the same thing, you know, they're not.
And also, most people who absolutely hate sci-fi love loads of sci-fi.
Yeah.
They just don't fucking realise it.
Yeah. So is there a sort of So is that when someone goes, like, someone could go, oh, I really like Led Zeppelin, and go, it's rock. But but once you go, no, metal, I like metal. This kind of, I remember once, I think it's a bit like musicals. Like, if you go to a musical, and I have been dragged with the school, is the only time I went to one, and everyone just starts singing on the stage, and I was a bit like, what the fuck's? I found it very jarring, and I felt they didn't like it. And then I could see that everyone just like, oh no, that's what they do. And then once you embrace it, you can. And I think metal is like an embracing of, I like this job, and maybe that's why it's got such a feel good vibe in the.
It has got such a feel good vibe. You know, for all those album covers that are covered in blood and fire and, you know, war, it's all about going, yay!
And is that just people have really embraced that they like something, warts and all? And that's the unique thing, because music snobs. That's what I was saying about musos. Yeah. I think muso, to me, it can mean different things. It's more like if you're really snobby. Like, I know people that, you know, like when people, oh God, turn that off, like they go angry. Like, it doesn't hurt your ears. You're just pretending it hurts your ears because you want to prove your merit or your sort of like discernment.
I mean, I can't say that I'm not like that.
I am as well.
I'm definitely like that. I mean, I've got a fairly long list of bands that I absolutely cannot listen to, and also when someone says they like them,
judge.
I am visibly disappointed.
Yeah, it says a lot about them, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it's, you know, I'm not going to name these bands because, do you know what? It's not fair because lots of people like these bands. And like I said, it's better to like these bands than to go, oh, I just like music. And you can't name a fucking band that you actually like.
I guess the thing is if you felt you had a follow-up question, like, what do you like about them? They'd go, catchy. It's like, so's the Flu. Like, catchy's not a reason to like something, is it? That's like being infected by this. Yeah. Like Nickelback. That's the whole thing. That's why it's bad.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I do think that since the Foo Fighters have come along, there should be a permanent lockdown until they've been gotten rid of. But that's just me.
No, you're right. They are up there. Yeah. We see eye to eye on that.
Yeah. I just don't like... Obviously, I mean, this is a really stupid thing to say. I don't like bands who are boring. There you go. Controversial, I know. But I don't. I don't like bands that put out, hey, we've got a brand new album. Is it brand new? Because if it sounds derivative of every other fucker that happened.
Do you know what it is? I close my eyes and can I imagine this track on an advert? And if I can, I don't like it. I think there's that, what used to be called, I think the generation now have got no notion of the negative connotations of selling out, because TikTok, Instagram, they're selling out before they've even fucking got anything worth selling. Kids now, they are born salesmen, aren't they? It's like, I'm just going to go on. I'm just going to go on TikTok and do a dance. It's like, what the fuck? Like, but they sell out before they've even developed a product.
Yeah.
But I think that's sort of like that Foo Fighters generic. I just think, well, listen, it's a business plan. I've heard that, because like now people aren't buying hard copies of albums and stuff. You're just streaming on Spotify. They get no money. So getting an advert deal is the only... Touring and adverts is the only way to make money now. But wasn't it Moby? Wasn't it that play? And everyone was like, oh, every track was used in a commercial. And I was like, that is a sad indictment for how bland that must be.
Yeah, every single track on that album.
It was that true? Is a bit of a
fucking ringtone? Yeah, no, I think it was. I think they were all used in ads. And, you know, there was definitely, listen, I don't really care about music being used in ads. It's a different time now.
Yeah, sure.
Than like the 60s. Getting on the radio in 1960s, that was a really big deal. But now, getting on, like, radio that's not how people hear music anymore. So, like, when one of my favorite bands, their music is used in an ad, I'm actually sort of okay with it.
Yeah, sure.
Well,
that's a new thing, though, isn't it? Because I remember.
I'm glad they're getting paid.
Was it Pulp that they said Coke or someone wanted to use a song of theirs? Can't remember. Or Match of the Day, and they said no, and then they went and paid someone to write like an almost identical. Was that Pulp? I think that might have been. But so you mentioned
that's ringing a bell. I think you are right.
I'm sure Jarvis Cocker. He's from that old school of like selling it. He went no, and they went, well, we're just going to write a song that's all. You might as well took the money, mate. You should have took that in that case.
He would now. I think he would now.
Yeah, it's changed.
I think the game has changed. So I don't think people have that. People just see an advert or like getting their music put into a game as like, well, that's part of exposure now. That's radio play.
Yeah. So you mentioned I'm going to ask you an annoying question, and I'm sure this pisses you off. So I apologise.
Great.
But I want to know if this does piss you off. I assume it will. I suspect it will. You mentioned in passing the Smiths. Now, I know as a vegan, it annoys you when people go, oh, do you eat avocados? Oh, you actually know how many things are killed? They try and catch you out.
Yeah.
How do you... Where are you with Morrissey? Because I know that you're a very outwardly... You're a political person... And I think your politics are...
He's just over there. Do you want me to get him?
How do you have you reconciled the difference between the artist and the art?
No, I don't. I don't like him.
But do you like his stuff?
Here's the great thing about being a Morrissey fan since... Well, I became a fan in 1989.
Right.
So I missed the Smiths. I was around for the Smiths. I was even offered a ticket to see the Smiths. And I said no.
Yeah, we've all got stories like that. This fucking kills you, doesn't it?
Which will always regret.
Yeah, I did that when Blur... I don't like Blur now, but they were touring Parklife, and I hadn't heard the album. I saw Henry Rollins at the UEA, and the next week it was Blur touring Park... And I thought, I quite like Modern Life is Rubbish, or Leisure, whatever it was. I said, but I'm not going to go... I don't want to go watch their new album, because I don't know it.
Yeah.
And someone had a ticket, and I didn't go. It's not as... that is nowhere near as bad as... It's nowhere near as bad as I went to V98 or 99 and my mates went to watch Cooler Shaker and I went off on my own to watch James Brown. Imagine that. I saw James Brown. They watched Cooler Shaker. I always take the piss out of them for that one. But I was on the right side of that one. But
that's...
of all the bands as well.
Even James Brown, I'd say at his live worst.
Oh, no, but I've seen him.
Going to be...
I've seen him. It's like you go...
He's going to be far superior.
Oh my! But I saw him. It doesn't matter. I wasn't even really taking in what he was doing. It's like seeing the fucking one of those fucked up temples in Thailand. Or it's not, but I still saw it.
Yeah, they're not slaughtering any virgins here, but you know, I still saw it.
I went there. Good. Yeah, but sorry. So you were saying you missed the Smiths.
Did miss the Smiths, but the great thing about
tail end of the Smiths.
They'd split up by the time I started to like them. I loved Morrissey throughout the 90s and up to somewhere into the noughties. And then it was just shit album after shit album.
You Are the Quarry's the last great album, do you think?
So it's like, I'm not a fan.
Oh, I love that album. Is that their Foo Fighters for you? Is that a bit too accessible?
Well, I'd find it quite dull. And I find, and unfortunately, it begins so boring.
Is it Irish Blood, English Heart?
America is not the world.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know where you can shove your hamburger? Oh, fuck off! It's.
He lost a bit of subtlety in his lyrics, didn't he? He sort of very on the nose, didn't he?
Yes. He lost all the. And anyway, but the great thing about suddenly, going, I can't defend this man anymore. No. He's too fucking insane. The great thing about that is you go, oh, does that mean I don't need to buy the next Morrissey album?
Yes, you're off the hook. Yeah, you're off the...
And you know what? It's a bit like, I'll tell you what I equate it to. And I would like Morrissey fans to hear this. Because I've got nothing against Doctor Who. I'm not one of these guys that goes, oh, do you know what? Since they got a female doctor, it's bullshit. Now, I started disliking it way before that, and I went, do you know what? I guess I was somewhere in my late 40s when I started to hate Doctor Who, and I think that's too late. I think, you know what? It is a show for kids. Please don't argue with me about that. It is a show for kids. It's a show for families to watch together.
Yeah.
But the main audience will always be children, and it always should be. And I watched Doctor Who and went, I don't need to watch this anymore. I'm a big boy.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding you. It's the same feeling if you just let Morrissey go.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it.
Did you hang on? Did you hang on for a bit?
Free.
Was you in denial when he first draped himself in the flag? Was you?
Yeah, I would even have said that. No, I can see. I can. He's clearly not racist because X, Y, and Z. And now it's because he's piled up the evidence sky high. It's like, oh well.
Okay, so when
I tried.
Yeah, but when he was sort of like the Smiths were, when he first burst onto the scene, didn't he wear like a hearing aid to symbolise the outsider and stuff? So do you think he's now thinks? Do you think now that
Oh yeah.
Now culture's shifted. Now the outside thing to be is a bigot. Is it as simple as that?
Yeah, and it's you could in 2025. I can't think of anything less of an outsider than a bigot.
No, because it's coming back, isn't it? It's so weird. Do you know what I always say? It's like jeans, mate. When everyone had started wearing skinny jeans, I thought you'd actually look ridiculous. Like this isn't me being in fashion. That looks ridiculous. 2 years later, I'm in skinny jeans, and then I see someone in baggy jeans. I go, no, that actually looks ridiculous. I'm not following fashion. It actually, on a molecular level, but you are.
So in 2 years, are you going to be a massive bigot?
I think 2 years ago I was. No, I don't. No. The thing about politics is I really try, and I don't know if this is, but this is probably the opposite of politics. I try to zoom out and go, right, when you're down in the tribes and in the weeds of it, and I try and zoom out and look at it as this is sort of like, like some people really give a fuck about Rangers and Celtic. I mean, to the point where they life and death, and I don't. And I can look at it. I try and look at politics like I'm looking at a derby between two teams I don't support. And just go, well, you shouldn't have stabbed him and you shouldn't have thrown that chair through that window. Yeah. You're all fucking idiots, right? It's a bit like that. Yeah. And I think that, but I do see that, and I've not used, like, I see you made a comment about Zuckerberg. It just shows that these people just chase the money. Like, they can sense that, I think they can sense that there's a change in the zeitgeist and they're trying to get ahead of the curve and going, they just want to do the popular thing they don't want to be unpopular.
It feels like to me, like what Zuckerberg is doing is so behind. It's so lacking in the curve. It's like the curve's already way ahead of you, man.
Yeah.
You were so behind the fucking curve.
It depends
you're trying to catch up on something that really, if you had anything about you at all, any substance, you'd be battling. But,
yes, in what you believe in. But this is the thing. He doesn't believe in anything. He just believes in making money.
Belief doesn't. And imagine being Mark Zuckerberg and going, I need more money.
How much money do these people need? It is insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you make it, once you put all your self-worth into anything, it's like, when you see like some fucking old woman and she's got like 1,500 thimbles or something. It's like, you don't need another thimble. You've just made that your personality. More thimbles equals better me.
Well, turns out Mark Zuckerberg needs loads of thimbles.
Yes, he does. And I see that he's now got in bed with Dana White, who's quite questionable as well. The UFC
Who's
guy.
That?
The UFC guy, the bald guy who runs the UFC.
Oh, yeah.
He's employed.
Be beyond me.
I think he's employed Dana White. I might be getting confused. I get bombarded with so much stuff that I'm only partially interested in. There's only so much. Bit like you and new metal. I'm not new metal. I mean NEW, new metal band. Not new metal. Where were you on new metal?
Well, listen, the only time that I ever noticed new metal was when I'd see dudes, like absolute frat dudes in long shorts going with a guitar and going, hang on, that is an Iron Maiden riff, you're fucking naked. And I would, the teenage me would go, don't you touch my Maiden. I may not be touching my Maiden anymore, but I don't want you touching my Maiden.
Well,
So that was, and as soon as I saw Limp Bizkit, I'm like, jeez, fucking hell, what a low fucking fall we've taken.
But everything you said about the happy, inclusive, accepting thing about metal is not true of new metal. I feel like you could not go to a Limp Bizkit.
No.
I feel like you'd get sexually assaulted.
It felt like an initiation. It's like, bro, you got to go to see Limp Bizkit. To get in, you got to drink these 20 beers. Yo!
Yeah.
Like, no,
but through some hose pipe with a funnel, like
Yeah.
on some frat boy ritual to drink it, to get in.
Yeah.
You could just drink them. You've got to like shotgun them by making a keyhole in the bottom. Did you ever
and
see?
That's not metal.
No, it's not. And
That's not metal.
This is the thing about metal. Metal, and I was thinking about this, is not the easiest genre to define. You could list lots of things that metal contain, but that pure metal, it's not that easy to describe, is it? It's a. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's you know, metal. Well, the metal I love anyway certainly goes off in all sorts of different forms.
It does.
To think it's one thing.
So let's say drill down. So would you say, I know it doesn't work like this, but if you had to pick a band that is the epicenter of the spider diagram of what metal is, would it be Maiden? It is. Do you know what? I try to think of more metal than that, and I can't. It's got everything.
Well, this is probably the peak of metal. This album, it is.
It's the sci-fi / fantasy artwork, isn't it? A bit Conan-y, pyramids. It's mysticism.
It's got all that stuff. It's got, you know. Also, it's got good tunes.
Oh no, of course. But I'm saying what makes
great tunes.
The difference between hard rock and metal is not a huge difference, but it's also a chasm of difference. But it's not that easy to describe.
I think a lot of metal is thought of as if the penny hasn't dropped with you, you could easily look at it and go, Jesus, they're really humorless. They're not. They are. No one can bounce onto a stage and sing about I am in a fiery pit of dragon's blood and think that they're serious. No one.
That's
can.
true. Yeah.
You know, they are 100% having fun and being silly, but absolutely committed to it. Committed to the hugeness of it all. Whereas, you know, you can easily go to, like, for instance, AC/DC would be a great example, where they are hard rock, they are not heavy metal.
Yes.
But they go on stage, and I'm not saying you can't have fun at an AC/DC gig. I've been there, I've had fun.
No, it's a different thing.
But when he's on stage, the singer's going, you know, the woman's pants were in my face. You go, yeah, I think you were shoving your face in her pants.
Yeah.
Mate. And that's when you go, see, unfortunately, I believe you. Whereas with metal, it's look at this mad fantasy we've got.
Other genres of music that might have a layer or a modicum of theatricalness, right? If you for one second theatricality, if you for 1 second detect their tongue going anywhere near their cheek, it's like gangster rap. Like if NWA, that is as fantasy as Bruce Dixon is it getting chased around by Eddie. Of course it is.
A lot of it is.
Yeah, you know when you have like the giant, is it Eddie? You have him, he'd run in between his legs, and I've seen that clip, and you know, because I do like metal. I like all music, really, guitar music anyway. But if you sense that NWA have that knowing, oh no, but they're still bullshit. It's like you're not going to be like making loads of money slinging crack in South Central and go, oh, it's 1 o'clock, we're going to go rehearse, guys. Let's go do our little song and dance. If he was actually...
Well, you know, but it is amazing that people can look at metal and take it at some face value that I can't see. But like, say, oh, look at these guys, you know, they take it so seriously. They do take it seriously. They're just not taking... They're very serious about doing a fun thing. But
that's what we do, isn't it? In a funny sort of different way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, we want to do a good job.
Yeah.
We're not sort of going, look at us fucking about. Like, say, for instance, Limp Bizkit might.
Yeah.
But equally, like even in the metal community itself, you see people going, oh my God, you know, whatever X, Y, and Z band, you know, these guys are so fucking pure. And you know, like Judas Priest would be the greatest example.
Yeah.
Judas Priest, people go, these guys fucking rock, and they fucking mean it, man. And I'll tell you how metal they are, and how fucking heterosexual they are. Look at the leather they fucking wear, and look at them on stage. He's gay? What? And then people would go, how is this? How, after all these years, was that guy gay? He made us rock.
Also, Judas Priest were in court.
You saw something we didn't see, mate. That's all it was. It's like, yeah, pretty gay.
Queen's the king of that. I mean, my dad didn't. I mean, Freddie Mercury managed to talk 3 straight dudes into being in a band called Queen, for one thing. But then my dad had no idea. Like, I think it was quite...
Yeah. But well, do you know that... Listen, I don't know if this is true, but this is what I've heard. There's a story about Freddie Mercury and Rob Halford from Judas Priest.
Yeah.
They were both on tour, I think, in 77, 78, something like that, in America. And whatever butt-fuck town, ironically, I guess.
But it was when they left.
Town that they were in. Both bands were playing in 2 different places. And Rob Halford, just said to Judas Priest, had a few drinks after the game, went, I'm a bit tired, I think I'll just go back to the hotel room. And the band went, all right, night, Rob. And they're like, oh, there's Rob going off to his hotel room again. Isn't he professional? He always goes to it. And of course, Rob goes off, goes to a gay bar. And Freddie Mercury walks into the gay bar. And they both went, what are you doing here?
That's a bit like, did you watch The Sopranos?
Yeah. No, I never seen
I think they saw Vito in a gay bar. But and he's got like a leather. It's a joke. It's like the mafia walk in to collect their money, and he's in there like they're from New Jersey. He's in New York City and dressed up like Rob Halford. But so Judas Priest, did they have to go to court to defend the suicide thing in the 80s? Do you remember all that?
Yeah, I mean, that was. I don't really 100% know what happened there, but other than I can see that was a case of lawyers, wasn't it, being cut?
Yeah.
Because they saw grieving families.
But I think that's America. I remember when Marilyn Manson hit, and they were like, ooh, you've mentioned the word pantomime. To a British audience, I think everyone was like, that's the pantomime villain. But America, this guy's dangerous. It's like, what are you fucking talking about? The dangerous people that walk among us don't look like that. They don't walk around in like platform leather, knee-high boots with different coloured contact lenses in, and it's so fucking theatrical, isn't it?
Listen, we're living in that time right now. That time has not changed because, I mean, there was a time in 1982, Iron Maiden, their album Number of the Beast, was doing so well in America, but partly because huge amount of Christian groups were buying the album to burn it.
Yeah.
So it's like, great, do whatever you want with the album, just buy it. That's the main thing. And they even stopped burning it. They would still buy it to smash it up with hammers because they assumed, they realized after burning some copies, they go, hang on, if we breathe in the fumes, will we become satanic?
Yes.
So, yeah. But these are the people, I know we're talking about 1982 and 2025, but these are the people who only see the good in Donald J. Trump and see the bad in, say, for instance, Rob Halford singing some songs in a band.
Yeah. I mean, I think Judas Priest, did they make a sort of bit of resurgence because of Beavis and Butthead, didn't they? I think they used to sing Breaking the Law a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Beavis and Butthead, I think, actually saved a few bands.
I do think so.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
and I think the more that a band was, got the piss taken out of them, better chance that they would have had a revival.
So we're getting to the Maiden, but where do you stand on Spinal Tap? I fucking love it. Do you love it?
Of course it's fucking brilliant. Yeah, of course it's fucking brilliant.
Do you think then, because when you was talking about the self-knowing of metal, I think, do you think that they missed that and thought, we're going to take the piss out of these pompous people? But I think metal bands kind of did that already. I honestly don't think so. I think they love metal so much that they go, well, we love how silly it is, so we're just going to make a brilliant film about how silly metal is, and about how, because it's like I said earlier, like the musicians take it seriously. Yeah,
they just don't take. They take their job seriously. They don't take necessarily you know, they don't really think that they're World War II bomber aces when they're singing a song about being a World War II bomber. They just find it all fun.
That's like Spinal Tap. Sorry, go on.
But you look at, you know, Spinal Tap, and you see people like, oh no, this is a lovely ballad. What's it called? What's called My Love.
Yeah. The saddest of all the chords. There's no way that could be as good as it is if they didn't love it. It's too well observed. It's so. I mean, someone said they thought it was a documentary, like someone like Ozzy Osbourne or someone happened to come across it. But it is like doing comedy. Now you've said that, like I'll do a gig and it doesn't go, and you're sort of like be in the car with you possibly like going, should I say cock or penis? Like we're really taking it serious. But it's,
I mean, a great example would be something like. You know, like you said, shoegazing a little while ago. Like, if you look at a shoegazing band, like I used to like a bit of shoegazing, loved all that stuff. But like, if you went to see a shoegazing band, would you say they were performing? I don't think they were.
Either there's another layer of their perform. Because I've noticed that the if I go into like a hipster coffee shop, there's a level of they're trying really hard to look they're not trying at life. Like is the shoegazing? I mean, if you want to be a musician and perform on stage, my instinct would be to be large. But if I was like, oh, I've got this opportunity in the shoegaze band, and they're like, oh no, can you just sort of be a bit more low key? Is that an affectation rather than performance?
Maybe, but there's no way that you could ever like see Judas Priest and go, no, yeah, it's all about the music with them. No, it's not. It's all about the community. It's all about being over the top. It's all about spectacle.
It's like when Maiden, the Maiden guitarist, puts his foot on the monitor and turns his guitar into a machine gun. It's like, is that the antithesis of shoegaze?
Yeah, come to our gig. I'll pretend to shoot you. You know.
But so I think Maiden are the quintessential metal band.
Well, you know, them or Black Sabbath.
I think Black Sabbath are closer to the origin. Would you think Deep Purple, Black Sabbath?
Yeah, I don't. You know, Deep Purple are definitely a big influence on Maiden. So, you know, probably somewhat more than Black Sabbath are, in fact.
I think for me, the first track I heard that really was of the Cream, maybe Sunshine of Your Love, or was that?
Yeah,
I feel that's. I mean, I'm really digging.
Oh yeah. No, you're not. You're not really. I mean, it's all there in Andrew O'Neill's book.
I want to get him on. I want to get him to talk about his faith. But anyway, that's a digression. But yeah. So you've got some records there. These are the only metal. I've got loads of records downstairs that I bought in the 80s. Yeah. And they've all got the original price tags on them. I don't know if you can see it to show that I'm such a hipster.
That's good.
Right. So this is. Good. Are you aware of Bolt Thrower?
No, I am.
Yeah. Well, that's Bolt Thrower, so that's more grindy, I think. They're very medieval. I never bought Maiden. I never bought any Maiden. This was $2.99. Look, Michael, back in the day when I used to buy records for £2.99.
And I always liked it when they put a sticker on. They go, "This is $2.99."
Well,
I've got ripped off.
I've got Out of Step by Minor Threat, and it's from Discord, and they printed on. I've got the $5 one. That's how you know what era it is. Like the first press was $3, then they printed $5. Nothing. Anyway, but this is like Grind Crush. This is Earache Records. I was into these guys are from Norwich. These are called Guttural Breath. Deviated Instinct. The album's Guttural Breath. This was £5.50 for a local band. And that's a bit like the jam at the farmers market. You're taking the piss here, man.
Yeah, well, you know, that's good.
But it's good that I've got it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great you've got it.
Yeah. These were. Look. It was recorded in Huddersfield. I'm sure it's the Feb Norwich. I'm sure this is back in the day. The sort of level of bands I bought is it would have the fucking like drummer's address on the back, and you could send him letters, like his actual house address. His address is printed on it somewhere.
Yeah, I used to love that. Like when I was a teenager, going to see local bands. Not that there were that many where I was growing up, but you know, buying their flexi discs and then go, you know. If interested, please write to. Never phone.
No, it would be like Hawthorne Crescent, number 17B. Oh, what happened there? I've had ad block come up. That's fucking annoying. That's right.
You blocked me from.
Blocked. Yeah, I don't like flexi discs. That's where I draw the line.
Yeah.
Trigger warning. I've got 2 Carcass records here. Are you aware of their artwork? As a vegan,
I think so.
Yeah, it's very Is it Fangoria, the magazine I used to buy? Do you remember
Yeah. Fangoria. Yeah.
Well, I've got Reek of Putrefaction.
Right.
And I love this record. Have you heard of Symphonies of Sickness? Have you ever heard it?
No.
I
have not.
It's sort of like probably a precursor to black metal. It's almost like the riffs sound like they're inspired by classical music.
Is that the one you're recommending to me?
If you were going to get into this kind, and the inside's all like that, if you're going to get into this kind of music, I would say Symphonies of Sickness. This is Earache as well. I was quite into it. But I was more of a punk guy. But anyway, that's as close. I just wanted to show. And I had a friend who was into similar sort of music, and we would swap records. And I've got some that he bought, and he's got some that I bought. And there's too much water under the bridge to a program. I really liked Terrorizer. I don't know if you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, New World Order or something like that. But I thought I had Unseen Terror here as well. Who had they think I forgot to bring that one up. Oh, no, there it is. Did I show you Unseen Terror?
I don't think you did.
Mate, I love this music.
I'm glad I've seen Unseen Terror now.
Yeah, you have. I love that it's just a picture of them, like, in their bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like...
Unseen Terror. Hi.
This is the guy, I think he used to play bass in Napalm Death and play drums in Unseen Terror. Because the large guy was very... Tad, do you know who Tad is? Do you remember Tad?
Yeah, of course Tad.
Yeah, well, there wasn't many big guys in this era of this sort of music. No, it was him and Tad, basically. But where would you say...
Wait, I need you to... Keep talking.
I need you to do the same thing with more metal, because I'm aware that these are metal adjacent.
Listen, I'm recommending this Iron Maiden album to you.
I will listen. I will.
I think if there's one Iron Maiden album that you will like, it is this. Because I think there's a little bit of the lead singer about you. This is the first Iron Maiden album.
Right.
It's called... Don't know.
Just self-titled?
Maybe. I don't know. They just didn't write a fucking title on it, which I think is absolute laziness.
Yeah.
But maybe it was time constrictions. Who knows? A lot of these.
Is that their debut album then?
This is their first album. And they have a lead vocalist at the time called Paul Di'Anno. And I see a little bit of the Paul Di'Anno in you.
Well, I've got to look him up. I don't know if that's an insult or a compliment yet. I don't know who he is.
Don't do a lot of the things he did.
Well, no. He's not Morrissey, is he?
No.
Not the other one. I don't want to say his name from that other band that Fern Cotton used to go out of. He's the worst ever.
Oh, yeah. No, listen, I think you'll really like this.
Oh, listen.
And also, even though the bass player, Steve Harris, absolutely denies this, it is a bit of a punk album.
Yeah.
There's a lot of punk influences in it. And that's what I mean by the vocalist, Paul Di'Anno, is a bit punk. And I think he was very much enamored by punk. The very thing that Steve Harris was not enamored by.
So what sort of year would that have come out? Was that 80s?
1980.
1980? Oh, how can it not be affected by punk? It's 3 years after the event.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, so how far do you go in the extremities? Do you go death, black metal at all? Or
see, right, here's the thing. It's not like I haven't heard death metal that I haven't liked. It's not like I haven't heard doom metal that I haven't liked. I just think generally it's not for me. I like that this is fun.
Yeah.
And also when I hear a lot of the vocalists in death metal, it makes my throat hurt.
It's quite anxiety-inducing, isn't it?
Oh God, please look after your vocal cords. But some people can sing that way so brilliantly. Like a lot of them, I'm really impressed by. But ultimately, I know I'm taking Fisherman's Friends on their behalf.
Because I used to listen to Extreme Noise Terror. They were the first. They were the first. But I guess the Smiths Meters Murder. But the Extreme Noise Terror were the first sort of activist people. I knew they would sabotage hunts and they would also vandalise butchers and stuff like that. But I ate meat and but I still sort of quite enjoyed their conviction. I think that they sort of that sort of a narco punk. I really liked that. I was a bit of a socialist, anarchist actually when I was younger. When I was riding around on my skateboard, and now I'm a gammon.
I mean, I think I think that's the thing about, you know, the Smiths even in the day. Like all these people were going, oh my God, we really love Morrissey's Animal Rights, and you know, and we love the song Meat is Murder. Are you vegetarian? Well, no, but I haven't had sex ever.
Yeah.
So in that way, I am like Morrissey.
No, but I hate immigration.
Right? You've gone that road. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I don't like people who are a bit different.
And this, right, I hope this isn't, but I watched a documentary about, because I don't have a TV, I don't watch the TV, I just watch YouTube videos of, like, this morning I was watching a live performance by Gong. I just watch weird, deep stuff.
That's good.
Deep dives, yeah. And I was watching a sort of like fan-made documentary about the Smiths. And I don't know why this never occurred to me. And I don't know what I think, but the intro or the guitar part to this Charming Man is African. It's inspired by African music.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, now I've said that, now you can't unhear it. Like that, ding, 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 ding. It's very, it's like a bit Gracelandy.
I hear what you're saying.
It's kind of not in a negative way, but it's really changed. I thought, how did he come up with that riff? But then I was like, he's actually borrowed it from African music. And it sort of took a little bit of shine off it. That's how much of a pretentious muso twat I am. That's...
Well, I mean, Johnny Marr's not a racist.
No, I know, and I love that riff. And I was like...
He'll be very happy with, you know, listening to black music, I'm sure.
No, but it's just, for me, I was a bit like...
So
I thought that there was no genesis to it. I just thought... I thought it was like this lightning in a bottle. And I was like, oh... I don't know why I think that. But have you ever seen the... I'll tell you what else I watched the other day. Have you ever seen the House Martins Hull 4 London 0?
Of course I fucking have.
What about...
Of course I fucking
What about the scene, Michael, where he goes downstairs and Fatboy Slim's in the lounge being Fatboy Slim before he's Fatboy Slim?
Yep. It's like... He's literally learning how to do what he ended up doing.
Yeah, it's a bit like when people go, "Have you seen Get Back? Well, did you see the amazing creation of Get Back?" It's like, yeah, that's how all songs are written, but they're like moaning, "Oh God, Norman's downstairs again," and he was mixing Run DMC and The Clash together. It's like, fucking hell,
it's amazing.
It is amazing, isn't it?
It's a great little documentary, isn't it?
What about when the guitarist goes in the bakery and starts fingering the cakes? It's really weird. I knew what they were doing. Like, he must have paid from before he did that.
Do you remember when they turn up at the radio station?
And they all do barbershop.
Hello.
So,
House Martins.
Mate, because the thing about the House Martins is they were like the Smiths to me. I just missed them. And obviously, Happy Hour, I think, is a great pop song. I mean, a very, very good pop song. I didn't know that much about them. So I watched that, and then I watched one about Paul Heaton, more about him and the Beautiful South. And I didn't know that the first female singer left because she deemed some of the lyrics to be sexist.
Right.
Because Happy Hour was a riposte or an attack on sexism, I thought.
You would have thought so. I think probably, don't forget, it was the 90s.
That lad era was awful.
Yeah. I'd say it went on a bit too long as well.
I mean, I've started seeing on my social media, when I doom scroll, a lot of clips of, which I never liked, Soccer AM, and them going, how do they... People sort... Sometimes the cap... This is what I've noticed the Daily Mail do this when I accidentally come... This is how they have their cake and eat it, right? The Daily Mail will have a picture of an actress that might not be looking as good as she used to in a bikini. But the headline is, "Oh, so-and-so looked amazing and gorgeous." I'm like, that's not why you're publishing these pictures.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that people are going, "Oh, you couldn't say this now," or "I can't believe they got away with this back in the day." I'm like, you're just sharing this sexist shit, but under the sort of like, what do you call it? The sort of like pretense that you're protesting it, but you're still sharing it. Do you know what I mean? It's a weird one.
Well, the one I used to really hate is, and I guess the main target, or the most famous target, I would say, is Helen Mirren. Where people go, "Can you believe it? Helen Mirren, look, she's 60 and she's sexy." Like, how's that fucking impossible?
Yeah, also, if you're, it's like if you came to my house. I can't remember what it's called. It's like they say there's this thing. It's like if you came to my house, right, and I went, and you went, "Where's the toilet?" I went, "Oh, there's one downstairs or one upstairs. Oh, by the way, don't shit in the sink upstairs." It's kind of like implying that you can in the sink downstairs.
Yeah.
So when Helen Mirren looks I would still have sex with her even though she's 60 implies that you wouldn't. That's the exception. Do you know what I mean?
She's getting very close to an age when I will absolutely have to say no to Helen Mirren.
And every other woman on the planet who's 60 is ugly, apart from this one.
Right.
So it's not a positive thing. It's actually...
And also, it's like, but Helen Mirren's a good-looking person. She's been lucky. She was born good-looking.
Yeah.
So, but this is not a merit. She wasn't like this fucking warty pig all her life, and then all of a sudden 60 and beautiful. It's like, yeah, I think good-looking people generally stay good-looking a bit longer than the rest of us freaks.
And another cultural phenomenon, when I look back, or sort of like weird period, was the is it Leslie Ash? She had some work done that didn't go so well. And do you remember that was open season on hers? Think how much society...
That's normal, isn't it?
Well, think how much has changed now that young girls look like that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know what that. Don't know. So that's about an hour. If you're happy with that, is there anything else you want to? Where can we find? Because you've got a podcast, you've got a new project, the Iron Maiden Pub Quiz.
I have got Iron Maiden Pub Quiz, which is a podcast that I do with my good friend Dan Mersch. And what we do is we talk about Iron Maiden. It is a podcast technically not about Iron Maiden. It is about Iron Maiden fans. And it is about what it is like to be an Iron Maiden fan. But we are still in the early stages of this podcast. So we are going through all the albums.
Yeah.
In chronological order. The latest episode covers Power Slave.
That is an album cover that just...
Come on!
But that album cover is like an illustration of my youth, even if not that specific one. Right. But there was lots of stuff like that. It just reminds me of an era.
Yeah. And, but also, on top of discussing what it's like to be an Iron Maiden fan and discussing the albums in, in relative detail, we're not too anal about it. Well, we can't be. We're too stupid. But we also, at the end, we have a pub quiz. So
you do have an actual pub quiz, right?
There's a pub quiz every episode, and we try to find out who was the most Maiden that week, me or Dan. And unfortunately for me, pretty much every week it's been Dan.
Yeah,
and that's sad, because I know Maiden longer than he's known them. So...
But going back to when you said about the Doctor Who convention, if you went to a Doctor Who convention and like someone was a bigger Doctor Who fan than you, I would have a little bit of like, well, I'm not as bad as that. Because can you know too much about Maiden or not?
No, well, here's the great thing. I know the right amount about Maiden.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not ruined my life. I've not sort of gone, do you know what? I need to know every detail of their 1981 Japanese tour, because I don't.
Yeah.
If I find something out about it, I either will keep it in my head or I won't. I don't care.
But it's very interesting.
There's been a couple of times where Dan has given me questions in the pub quiz where I've gone, I have no idea. Then he says the answer, and I go, I fucking hate myself because I fucking knew that.
Yeah, that's the thing. But it's interesting when you held up that artwork of their debut album. You could see the progression in that, couldn't you?
Oh, yeah. Same artist.
The same artist, but that was like, I think that when they held up, they were like, yeah, can you just draw a bloke? And they're like, yeah, that'll do. But there's a lot more, more intricate, and they definitely took it to the nth degree. Did the music follow that?
Actually, he probably had less time to paint that than he did to paint this. So...
Do you think you can judge a book by the cover with Maiden? Like, is there a sort of like a rule of thumb of the artwork to the music? Because I don't know another band that's that linked, actually.
Do you know what? That's such a good question.
Ask it to him.
That I think, if it's okay with you, I might bring that up in the next podcast.
No, 100%.
Because there are lots of great Maiden albums, and I think they do have great covers.
I think so.
And there are some Maiden albums not so good, and they've got dog shit album covers. Is it a coincidence?
I don't know a band that is as linked with its artwork as Maiden. I think Eddie is a member of the band. I don't know.
There's a great part of the. I like to think anyway. It's a great part of the podcast that we have called Iron Maiden Heresy, where people write in and say an opinion about Iron Maiden that they know Iron Maiden fans won't like. And it's been funny. We've had a couple of people write in and go, I don't like Eddie. And they say it like they know him, like they've met him 2 or 3 times and he was annoying. But I don't like him.
Okay, last question then. Do you think Eddie is... So if Eddie stands at the gateway which leads to Maiden, is Eddie a bouncer to keep people out or a greeter to invite people in?
I think he's very much greeting people in, but he definitely did with me when I was a teenager.
But could they also be using him to keep the wrong people away, like Limp Bizkit people?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
There you go. These are 2 great questions, mate. If we ever do have guests on our podcast, you must go on because those are 2 very good questions. Yeah, and I guess he's doing both jobs.
I think so. It's gatekeeper.
Yeah. But also we will do this in a future episode. But a question that Dan and I keep asking each other is, what is Eddie? Like, what is he?
He's like a zombie, sort of, isn't he?
Well, see, I think he's closer to being like Zelig. Like, he just appears in moments in history. How? Why?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess there's a touch of
the Egypt.
Yeah.
And then in the next album cover, he's in the future. I
guess if you were to read into it, I would say that maybe he is the dark spirit. Maybe he was in Pontius Pilate and he was in Peter Sutcliffe. This kind of like, embodiment of not evil, but yeah, maybe. But then it's not. I don't think he is a negative. I don't know. He's a weird character, actually. He's not negative.
That's the other thing. He's actually sometimes quite heroic, but also we have seen him kill people.
Yeah.
Like he's on the cover of their second album, Killers. He's got an axe dripping with blood, and there's someone grabbing hold of his shirt as they clearly collapse to the ground.
And then there's the Trooper Beer is the soldier, isn't he?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess that could be quite heroic.
Yes, exactly. No, yeah. And not peacekeeping. What do you call it? Defensive. Defending the realm. But so maybe he's not this sort of like Antichrist.
So what the fuck is he?
He's everything, mate. That's the good thing about it, Michael.
He's all of us.
He's the lizard part of us, isn't he?
He's the smile on the face of every child.
Yeah, I see him in every flower. I see him in every drop of rain.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else you want to, where people can find you or whatever?
I don't want people to find me.
No, I'm a bit like that at this age.
No.
We'll be listening to our metal. We'll be listening to our metal, won't we? We're sewing patches onto our leather jacket. Or pleather jacket, sorry.
Well, this is it. Do you know, I actually, when you were talking about patches, I actually do have an Iron Maiden patch. I've got a grey duffel coat, and the inside lining of the pocket ripped. So that means, literally, if you put anything in that pocket, it would fall out through the inside of the coat. So I put an Iron Maiden Peace of Mind album cover patch.
Oh, you wear it on the inside, bro. It's like the end of We Once Were Warriors.
But the good thing about that is every so often, if I'm wearing it, because it's a duffel coat, so look all...
Yeah.
Look at this.
No, that's you all over. You're a
and
conundrum, Michael.
Just open that bad boy up. Look at this.
I've just had an epiphany.
I'm still metal.
I've just had an epiphany. I swear to God, this just occurred to me when you were saying that. The sleeveless denim over the leather was obviously because it's easier to sew things on denim than leather. That's why I didn't even know that. That's a prophylactic.
Good mate. That's a battle jacket.
But you could change the denim and go, I'll get some new patches. I don't like Wasp anymore.
You're not allowed. Once you like Wasp, it's Wasp.
Well, now it's become to mean white Anglo. But everyone used to say that they used to stand for we are sexual perverts. But we
are sexual perverts.
But now it's white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. So you got to get rid of that. It's like Morrissey.
I don't think that was now. I think that's what Wasp were satirising.
Oh, it was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Look, they've got songs like Animal Fuck Like a Beast. That's going to piss off the Christians. How can we piss them off more?
Yeah.
Why don't we take their name?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But Halloween, I love the Halloween patch with a pumpkin. I loved all
that stuff. All that made it. All that metal iconography. It was great.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It was very Teenage Boy heavy, which is...
Teenage Boy heavy.
Haven't even got into Metallica. Oh, God, we should have got into them. But anyway,
next time.
Yeah, the Black Album. That furrowed some brows when they did a ballad. Nothing else matters. They didn't like that. But anyway, Michael Legge, thank you so much for doing it, brother. And
Thank you, my friend.
yeah, and I'll see you out there. Thank you very much.